Hello, I'm Reuben Cornell and this is episode 25 of the Samplecast. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Samplecast podcast. It's a specially extended show this week with the composer David Rosen talking about his track Butterfly. In the podcast, that's the only place you can hear the interview in full. Let's get on with the show. First off in this week's roundup, it's The Last Haven. They've got 2 new libraries out, and this begins their new series of libraries called Stacker. Now, we've previously featured The Last Haven, a couple of their libraries before, and interviews with the founders in Samplecast shows 8 and 16, if you want to have a look back at those. So we're looking at Stacker Cinematic Pulses first. This is 144 loops which can be stacked on top of one another to create rhythmic pulsing sounds for soundtracks and trailer music. You can use the effects panel here to adjust the pitch, pan and volume of each pulse separately, and this product runs in the full version of Kontakt and it's just over a gigabyte in size. The interface is very similar to their next product, which is analog Ostinato. The Ostinato engine here runs in the full version of Kontakt again. The content is 59 short analog synth plucks that can be mixed together in the engine to create arpeggios and ostinatos. Then these are routed through an effects panel, and this features over 2,500 different samples. It runs in at 600 megabytes in size, and you'll find that both of these products work really well together. There's also bundle options for picking them both up, and The Last Haven are running anniversary discounts too, so head over to the Last Haven website for more information on that. Next up, it's a new pack from Soundiron, and this really concentrates on the low frequency side of scoring. The sample library itself is called Low, L-O, and it's a dedicated kick and low frequency FX library for creating seriously low percussion, FX and bass sounds. This runs in the full version of Kontakt. You've got 34 different presets here, and it's about 500 megabytes installed. In total there are 470 samples, so you've got 176 kicks, 271 bass effects and 23 auxiliary ambient bass synths. All of these sounds have been bundled up in the Kontakt engine, which includes an arpeggiator and extensive effects rack too for destroying those sounds, adding some distortion and bit crushing. Also there's loads of convolution reverbs on board. Soundiron products are really well known for providing lots of crazy kind of convolutions that they've sampled from everywhere. Have a look at the Soundiron website for more information. A couple of new sample libraries now from Orange Tree Samples, and I've done the walkthrough videos for these, so if you recognise my voice on those videos, yes, that is me. The first is the Mandolin library. It's their first non-guitar library using the Evolution engine. Users of their previous Evolution libraries will be well familiar with this setup. It runs in the Kontakt player, it's NKS compatible too, and there's a few differences here with the mandolin. Firstly, there's interesting new articulations unique to that mandolin, including tremolo and miss frets. Secondly, it's the sound and the fact that you've got 4 pairs of strings, so the chord voicings are slightly different here. You've got the usual strumming engine on board and amp cab and pedal effects simulations too. There's 2 videos for this online to have a look through, a preset run through and the walkthrough video that I did. Check it out at the Orange Tree Samples website. And I won't forget to mention the Evolution Flatpick 6. Now this was actually out a few weeks ago, but we were off air at the time. Basically you can take everything that I've just said about the mandolin library and copy paste to the Flatpick 6 specifications as well, apart from those aspects unique to the mandolin. This is an acoustic guitar that's been picked with a plectrum, and you can also find it on the Orange Tree Samples website. There are some great bargains out this week. The first is via VST Buzz, and it's Scenes from the Multiverse by Audio Imperia. Here you've got booms, crashes, hits, brams, drops, rises, and all of that kind of trailer scoring good stuff. It runs in the full version of Kontakt, it's 800 megabytes in total, and you've got here both the WAV files and also those files combined into a Kontakt engine which wraps those sounds up with a comprehensive interface including sequencer, LFOs and effects to tweak the sounds too. 60% off here, so that's just €19.99, a real bargain. Until the 24th of October, you can get 50% off the entire site at New Loops. Now this is a new rebranding from the guys behind Biome Digital, They've rebranded and discounted all of their products to celebrate the shift over to the name New Loops. So for example, their Cinematic Textures pack, which I've covered in the Samplecast before, it's now just $12.99, so it's definitely worth having a look at. Have a browse on the New Loops website. Here's my big review for Output's Substance. Okay, so I got hold of Substance last week, but there's so much to it that I really wanted to give myself a few days to really explore it before doing this review. So I've had a really good chance to run through the product now, see exactly what it does. And at first glance, it's a bass synth for Contact Player with 300 presets and a load of effects for moving and kind of affecting, shifting the sounds around. However, the more I delved into it, the more versatile I found it to be. The main interface here combines 3 sound sources to make one mighty bass tone, so you can choose between different categories of sources, including things like synths, impacts, sub-basses, process guitars and brass, and there's a few more as well. You can then apply other attributes like ADSR, shaping, panning, tuning, EQ, filter, FX, rhythmic movement and arpeggios as well. The interface is well laid out here, and all these parameters are really easy to find, and they're color coded for each of the 3 sound sources. One of the best things about this library is simply the sound. It sounds really fat, weighty and thick. There's not a bad preset here neither, with the macro sliders sensibly assigned. I do need to talk about that macro function. It's not something that's instantly apparent with the library, but almost any combination of parameters can be assigned to the 4 macro sliders on the main page by activating the macro menu and setting the ranges. This is a detailed process if you want to set it up yourself. As I say, the 300 presets already have some really great macros set up, but if you want to do it yourself, the instrument actually helps you out quite considerably. So when you want to edit a parameter's values, it takes you straight to the relevant page and flashes the appropriate button at you, which is pretty amazing. It's not something I've seen any Contact library do in quite this way, so full thumbs up for that. For an instrument potentially incredibly complex, the interface is easy to navigate, and although you'll need to refer to the manual for some of the more advanced options, I think you'll find your way around it within a couple of hours or so. There's just a couple of things I'd like to point out that could be potential improvements, maybe in a version 2 of this library. I found that when choosing the sound sources, the name of the category doesn't pop up until you actually click on it, which can make hunting for a particular sound sources more lengthy than it needs to be. Also, as regular viewers of the Samplecast will know, I'm a big fan of randomization. There's a few randomization functions here within the rhythm and arpeggio section, but nothing for the sound sources. I'd like to hear what some of the presets would sound like with some random sources loaded in. I'd be really itching to create some unusual sounds that I'd never choose myself, so I'd like to see that included next time maybe. I could talk for a really long time about the ins and outs of the editing in this library and how to do this and that. It's not really going to help you until you get your hands on the library. So I'd like to wrap up the conclusion like this. It is really a library for 2 kinds of different people. Substance is fantastic if you're creating dance or electronic hybrid or trailer music and you need some absolutely killer, deep and aggressive bass sounds straight away. All you have to really do is go ahead and load up the presets and you're pretty much done. If you're likely to want to do any tweaking with those presets, then you've probably already got the functions you need assigned to those 4 macro sliders. As I say, the presets are stellar. The other group of people who are going to love this are those who love deep programming and tinkering around under the hood. Once you've read the manual and experimented with the various windows, rhythms, arpeggios, effects, ADSR and all of that good stuff, you'll find that Substance is deep in more than just its bass tone. The sound shaping possibilities are really wild here, and you could find yourself lost for days. It's a double thumbs up for Output Substance. I really loved it. I want to say a huge thank you to David Rosen, who's allowed us to include his track Butterfly in this week's Samplecast podcast. He's a composer based in Las Vegas, and this is a beautiful hybrid track which makes excellent use of both sample libraries and analog synth sounds too. It's got a really spectacular music video, you can see that playing behind me here, and you can find out more information from his website or his YouTube channel. The website is www.bydavidrosen.com. Check out the full interview with David chatting about his track on the Samplecast podcast. A really nice giveaway from Embertone this week. It's their Ivory Wind library. Now they used to charge around £10 for this, but at the moment it's free, and if you don't have it then shame on you, it is really fantastic. It runs in the full version of Contact, it's got a lovely true legato sound, they've sampled a wooden flute here, and you've got mod wheel vibrato, and there's a few other kind of articulation tricks as well. You can check out the walkthrough video online, which I did at www.embertone.com, and there are actually another 8 free instruments to find on the Embertone website. They're a little bit difficult to locate, but my recommendation is to click on the purchase link at the top of the site and then sort selection by price, and the first ones that come up will be those 9 free libraries. Definitely worth having a look at. I've just got time in the show to throw in one more big review, so I'm going to cover Toontrack's Dream Pop EZ expansion. This runs in Studio Drummer 2 or Easy Drummer 2, and I can't believe I've never used a Toontrack library before, but I have to say the first thing that impressed me here was the download and installation service, because I was really starting with this product from scratch. I was using Toontrack's installer software. It's just a few clicks, and the download, installation and even the upgrade is super easy. So within the software itself, every different kit has a fun different animated graphic, and the Dream Pop expansion is no exception. It features some acoustic drums and some digital drum machines and a whole host of percussive, Foley and organic elements, so it means that you can click on things like the stool and the pot plant in the graphic and get some interesting sounds from those. You've got 29 preset kits here with 250 instruments in total, and there are pre-configured MIDI loops too, which have been specially designed for the new kits. This is particularly great as the song creator, which normally works well with standard kits, becomes a little bit unstuck when knowing what to do with some of the more unusual sounds here. It means you can get some quite weird combinations of instruments when using the song creator. But of course you can always adjust the MIDI yourself if things get a little bit out of hand. I really like the mixing options here, some of which are specific to Dream Pop. You can dial in some quick and easy parallel distortion and bit crushing, and the whole process is nicely done, it's just a couple of clicks away. So overall I was really impressed with the sounds of this library. You've got some light percussion and some heavier stuff, and some very unusual things in between as well. I think if you already own Studio Drummer or Easy Drummer, then you're looking to expand the acoustic factory drum sounds. With Dream Pop, you'll be pretty pleased, and this will add some more cutting edge modern samples, and you should definitely consider picking it up. Thank you for watching Samplecast 25, especially if you've made it all the way to the end. It's a huge effort to put it together every week, so I really appreciate when people watch the whole show. Don't forget there's the podcast available with that long composer interview. There's a special section on there for all of the different products as well, where you can hear them all in action. You can follow us over at Twitter, you can find us on Facebook, you can email us as well, or you can head over to the Samplecast website where you can find all of the previous shows and podcast. Just head to www.thesamplecast.com. I shall see you again next week. Bye bye now.